Hey team, you're watching Hide and Sneakz, and I wanted to do another 7-day sneaker rotation for a while about the NBA. So I thought let's start off with last season's champions, the Oklahoma City Thunder, and do a sneaker rotation inspired by that team. So for those of you who don't know how I do my sneaker rotation series, it's inspired by either the looks, the theming, or some sort of loose tie-in with some iconic parts relative to that theme. So today being the Oklahoma City Thunder, it could be current players, past players, team colors. Actually, let's just get into it with our first pair. Starting off with our first sneaker in the OKC Thunder sneaker rotation, and I have to go with this pair here, the Jordan 4 Thunder. Now super convenient because I have it right here, but the OKC Thunder is a really awesome Jordan 4 in general. It performs well, it's loved by this generation and current generations, and more importantly, the tie-in with the name is just so obvious. Oklahoma City Thunder, we've got a great Thunder pair that's performing well in sneaker rotations and performing well in the league. So this to me is a great sneaker rotation ad for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Moving on to my second day in the sneaker rotation inspired by the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I have to go for one inspired by their best current player, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So Shai has been pretty unstoppable as a player. He's one of the best in the league. He won MVP and Finals MVP last season, and he's having a great season this season. So how do I recognize that by capturing him in a pair? Well, that's where I thought of this pair here, the Jordan 11 Cherry. Now, it probably seems weird that I didn't go for one of Shai's pairs. He's got a lot of cool color pairs and themes behind them, but I really like this pair because I think that white and red combination becomes a really good representation of the colors of the Canadian flag. Similar to how Giannis has become for Greece and Jokic has become for Serbia, I think Shai has moved into that territory of being the face of basketball for his country. Now that's pretty hard considering they've had Steve Nash for so long as a person who's kind of waved that banner, but I really do think that Shai has taken that crown, and I think this is kind of a subtle way at kind of recognizing his way as being the all-time face for Canadian basketball. Moving on to day 3 of the sneaker rotation inspired by the OKC Thunder, and I've got this pair here as a nod to Kevin Durant. Now in my opinion, Kevin Durant is one of the most talented players who've ever played for OKC, so we definitely have to recognize him in terms of a pair for the sneaker rotation. And the pair that I thought is on my favorite model, the KD4, and recognizing one of my favorite KD moments of him accepting his MVP and recognizing his mum as the real MVP. Now this KD4 in the white colorway ticks so many boxes and is why it's such a great add to our pair. First of all, it acknowledges KD, it acknowledges the team colors, and it acknowledges the fact that the team is so good at drafting talent that goes on to be MVPs. Think KD, think Shai, think Harden, think Russ. They're really good at recognizing that talent that goes on to flourish, and I think this pair does a great job at recognizing KD's high performance with the team, as well as their way and ability to draft MVP talent. Moving on to day 4 in my sneaker rotation inspired by Oklahoma City Thunder, and I have to go for my favorite player from the franchise of all time, and that is Russell Westbrook. So for me, he brings that tenacity, he brings that hustle, and that's why for me, I think he has Air Force One triple black energy. What I mean by that is, as a point guard, he would fire through, he'd get the rebounds, he'd stand up for his teammates. Even though Russ is so well known for having his own kind of fashion intake, as well as having his own pairs, I think this pair catches the energy so well because that triple black Air Force One energy is the hustle that he brought to the point guard position. Moving on to day 5 in the sneaker rotation inspired by OKC Thunder, and I've got this pair here, the Nike GT Future in the Fire colorway. Now the reason I've gone for this one is not only is it an orange shoe and ties in with the nice orange parts of the team colors and team uniform, but it's actually the use of the GT Future. And the reason I've gone for a pair that's called a GT Future, not only do I really like this model, but I also think that's that nod of the future, the ability for this organization to see and identify talent and get the absolute best out of them. I mean, they've had 4 modern MVPs, which is kind of crazy because they've had a lot of repeat MVPs, so they're clearly doing something right. And I think this is a way of kind of recognizing not only do they have the potential to draft fire picks, but they have such good talent. Moving on to day 6 in my sneaker rotation inspired by the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I think it's important to remember where they came from, which wasn't always Oklahoma, but actually was Seattle when they were the Seattle Supersonics. And there's so much love for the Seattle Supersonics era of the business, so I think it's really good to recognize it in a pair here. Typically when I do these sneaker rotation videos, I try to avoid doing official pairs inspired by the actual theme, and if I do, I limit myself to only one. And in this case, this is going to be my one for the overall sneaker rotation because I think it just flies so subtly and works so well. It is the the Jordan 1 mid in the Sonic colorway. Now why I like this is, first of all, I think mids don't get enough love. Yes, some mid color blocking is absolutely awful. This one I think is quite subtle. It brings a good combination of that yellow and green together, and in terms of having a pair that recognizes those themes, I think this one has done it really, really well. Moving into my final day of the sneaker rotation inspired by the Oklahoma City Thunder, and I think we've got to make sure we capture a pair that covers some wearability among the team uniform. That could be worn by the players or us to games, that works with all variations of the team uniform. So it needs to have white, it needs to have orange, and it needs to have blue. And that's where I thought of this pair here, the Nike Air Force 1 Low Elevate in the safety orange and university blue colorway. Now this shoe is a very loud shoe and it's wearable, but it's got the orange and the blue and the white in there, so it does work with all variations, whether it be home, away, or city jerseys. I think it's a very subtle way at kind of tying in, and it's how a lot of sneakerheads tend to wear their shoes anyway for their team. Find some of similar colors that match the team uniform and then rock them on the day. Well, there you go. There is our full 7-day sneaker rotation inspired by the Oklahoma City Thunder. We've captured team colors, team players, a bit of the team lore and history, and I still think collectively have built a really solid 7-day sneaker rotation collection. I'd be really keen to know in the comment section below what you think of this sneaker rotation. Would you rock this on a 7-day situation? And if you're an OKC fan, have we hit the nail on the mark here? Do you think we've done the team a lot of justice here? Now, I love making these 7-day sneaker rotations, and I will be making more. I'm keen to do things on pop culture, movies, comics, video games, brands, whatever. And if you are an NBA fan, please let me know what is the team you think we should do next. In the meantime, feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.